everyone, and welcome to the 2025-2026 Week 2 preview, Week 1 review. I'm joined today by Joel Gibson. Joel, how you feeling today?
Honestly, I feel better than I think you're implying, having kept up with you all week and being so injured. But I don't know if that's exactly what you're asking.
Yeah, I'm your commissioner. I'm Mr. Modest. I'm the champ. I have the trophy right here. I've also won 30 weeks in a row, 30 matchups in a row. I apologize. Not weeks. It's actually more weeks than that. Um, but it felt good to beat the snot out of you. You made it a lot closer than I was hoping, but like we talked about with the shortened week, my depth was just there. Your injuries were going to be a problem. And at the end, I just pulled away. And, it feels so good. It feels so good to have you as the person that I beat for 30 matchups in a row.
Things could have been very, very different, Brandon. And I told you when we were hanging out that you do not want to see me first game next season. It's going to be a different team.
First game next season. I'm writing that down on my notes. Everybody see my pen. I'm writing it down on my notes. First game next season, Joel says, I better watch out. Okay. I got it. I took it down. All good. Also, we were talking about this earlier. I just wanted to point this out to you. You actually have $68 left. I have $69 left. So, you know what? You could just take that. I won that too.
I mean, I think Ryan Rollins is going to be the pickup of the year. So you can take that. You know how I like birds that can't shoot.
All right, I have Mr. Modest moving to 1-0 as the number one in power rankings. Joel moving to 0-1. I do actually move him up one spot to number 8 as we get into next week. We'll talk about it. But he was number 9 there, so fairly close. Next matchup is Battle of Homestead. It was the closest matchup. CJ sitting Kawhi here at the end. Steven had more red flags than Joel's last date. It was horrible. It was really bad. And I felt bad for Steven, but CJ gets the job done here.
Yeah, right now, CJ's team looks strong. And he always starts the season strong. You're probably squaring a little bit. The Jami Vasquez is playing well.
Jami Vasquez, yep. Jaime Jaquez is how you actually say it if you're a Heat fan. Jaime Vasquez, I love it. That was awesome. That was actually the best quote of the entire year so far. That was so funny. Okay, yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Games in a row, so I'm sure you're wet. But I am really worried that Kyle Kuzma sucks and that Rudy Gobert could be washed up.
I agree. I think Boncaro was bad for Steven this week as well. And he still came close. That's something to also point out. There were a couple, at least categories that Steven could have taken here at the end. So that's just something to watch out for if Steven can get healthy. I mean, like I said, he might have been more injured this week than you were, and that's crazy to talk about. So just something to keep in mind. Steven off to a rough start this year, but if he can get right, he can compete for sure. Shout out to CJ. I had him at 4. He's going to stay at 4. And I had Steven at 11. He's going to stay at 11. So all these people giving me shit about my power rankings, pretty spot on if you ask me. Next matchup. Hey, I'm not talking to you. I'm trying to move on to the next matchup. It's Cody versus Eric. Cody is going to win this matchup. Cody getting some bad news today, though. Luka going to be out for the next week. Well earned. I did see Eric active on the wire, though. I did want to point that out since we gave him so much shit last week. He did add, I think, one player. I think he made one move. So that's a start in the right direction, but Cody gets this one done.
Yeah, Cody's team is strong. The Luka news isn't good. Eric continuing to have Luka on his team name will forever fuck me up. But Giannis looked amazing for Eric on the plus side in a loss.
Absolutely. I had Cody at 2. He stays at 2, and I had Eric at 5. He moves to 7, and we'll talk about that. Next matchup is Matt just obliterating Jake. Matt had a couple just spectacular performances this week, one from a rookie and one from a vet. And quite frankly, that carried him a long way against Jake. I think that Jake is carrying a lot of dead weight, at least in cap right now. But I had Matt at 12. He's your biggest mover this week. He's going to move the whole way to 6 in my power rankings. And Jake goes from 10 to 12. Anything on this one, Joel?
I thought D'Angelo Russell was dead, and he popped off for 24 points today. I thought it was hilarious when Jason Kidd said he didn't have a point guard on his team. But unfortunately, that was not enough for Jake to get it done. I think that this is a flash in the pan for Matthew, but I have a history of not believing in Matt.
That's true, and I also wanted to say that I was mad about the Russell thing today because that cost Nembhard some minutes, and, hey, it's one of his games that he couldn't play. He could only play 50 on his stupid two-way deal, so I guess, when I did need him, best for him not to play. That's fine. Next matchup is Kyle at Adam. Kyle spanks Adam here. I had Kyle at 6. I'd move him up to 5 for next week. I had Adam at 8 and move him down to 10. Kyle's team looks really good. Now, Jalen Johnson, is there an injury update on him?
I think it said that he won't play on Monday.
Monday, that's what I thought. All right, so at least one game.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the injury was. A strain, maybe?
He just kind of picks up these small, nicks and scrapes that cost him a couple games here, cost him a couple games there.
It's an ankle. We'll miss a second consecutive game to a right ankle injury.
Well, all hopes for that, especially because he traded Wemby away for Jalen Johnson. You hate to see Wemby doing what he's doing. It's one of those things, though, I do want to say while we're talking about Kyle's team, I think we're all going to look back on Wemby being traded, the Wemby panic, the Wemby hysteria, the Wemby blood clot is a truly confusing time in basketball. Because, if you were the owner of Wemby, could you have got more? Could you have gotten a different deal in place? Or people that were offered Wemby, maybe that didn't take you up on the deal, regretting it? It's one of those crazy things that I just want to point out. Nobody blames Kyle for one way or the other. I don't know what I would have done with Wemby. I would have been panicked as well. There was a lot of history of clots, and something could come back, But I just wanted to bring that up where we were talking about Kyle's team. Takes care of Adam. Adam doesn't have Fox right now. So tough for him to compete. Dyson Daniels is off to kind of a slow start. We've kind of established that Amen Thompson's not a point guard. It's still a little early, but man, the vision is not there if you're asking me. But Kyle gets a win here.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that Kyle ran away with this the way he did. The Fox injury was a double factor because it meant Dylan Harper got extra minutes this week. So I think that was pretty significant because that might be Adam's best player. But good win for Kyle.
Absolutely. Last matchup here is Doug just obliterated Neiman. I found it really funny that Embiid had a quote this week that he was like, if I'm going to play in short spurts, I might as well be sitting at home with my family. That made me laugh so hard. Bro, you have never played in long spurts in your entire life. I don't understand why this is anything new for you, dog. But yeah, Neiman, he's got some work to do.
I think one thing that's really going to hurt. Well, Neiman's hurting for a couple reasons. Sabonis is off to a really slow start. It looks like they're not letting him play make as much. Josh Hart, his role is severely reduced without Thibodeau around.
Sabonis just doesn't want to be there. Sabonis just doesn't want to be there. Nobody's going to be able to tell me anything different. He's getting into the later years of his career. He wants to start winning basketball, and right now winning basketball looks like an eternity away in Sacramento. He doesn't want to be there, and I'm not going against that.
The best player for Neiman this week was Siakam, and that puts him in murky waters. So hopefully Embiid's career is not over, because that would put Neiman in a tough spot.
Yep, I have Neiman at 7 before the matchup. He moves to 9. Doug stays at 3. Shocker. That being said, anything else from week 1? A lot of actives on the wire. A lot of interesting information. I love week 1 because it's we have no idea what's going on with some players, and you can find some real hidden value if you're paying attention.
Yeah, there's panic drops. There's new value. There's young players that hit. There's old guys that fall off. Week 1 is maybe my favorite week.
Yep, chaos. Absolute chaos. All right, well, moving into week 2. We're already at week 2 of the new season. We'll start with the champs matchup. Number 1 versus number 6, Matt Hobert. You won't know who number 1 is. I didn't have to say Mr. Modest, your champion, the buzzsaw, your reigning, defending, 4-time champion, 30 wins in a row. I don't have to say that every time we talk about the champs matchup because we've done this for so many weeks that at this point you all assume who the champs matchup is. It's Mr. Modest's matchup. And this week, Matt Hobert, you were a flash in the pan. You can cycle all you want, my friend. I am going to bury you this week, and it's going to feel oh so good. I looked at our scores next to each other. I've got 8 categories against you. I was injured this week. I barely cycled. Heaven forbid Jalen Williams comes back this week. Mr. Modest is getting this win on the road. Welcome to the new East. I've beaten 2 former East Division at the end of this week. I run this shit now, Joel Gibson. Mr. Modest wins.
Do you think it would be different if Kevin Porter Jr. were playing this week?
No, I do not. For my formal answer, I'm speaking into a microphone. No, I do not. No, I don't.
I don't either. I'm picking you to win this. But it is interesting that Matt started off so hot. Probably the most interesting performance of the first week was Aaron Gordon dropping a 50 burger. I compared this at work to someone at work as Corey Brewer dropping that 40 or 50 game. You remember that?
Yes, that 50-point game. Doug loves to bring up that game for Corey Brewer. So shout out Doug on that one because he'll love that.
Shout out Corey Brewer on that
one. All right, well, we're both going with me. That's a good idea. Looks like maybe 31 in a row. That'll be exciting. Next matchup is definitely the matchup of the week, in my opinion. We have Cody on the road at CJ. Both 1-0. Oh, Matt and I are both also 1-0. But again, I'm going to win. So 2-0 Mr. Modest, 1-1 Matt. Next, like I said, Cody and CJ, they're both 1-0. Cody I have at number 2, CJ at number 4. And that news dropped about Luka. I don't know, man. I am leaning CJ at home here.
Man, that's interesting. I think it depends on what CJ does. His IR is full. He's got some tough choices to make. He traded, I don't exactly remember what, but I remember he traded stuff to get Kyle Kuzma. Is it too early to drop him? Should he drop him? Those are probably questions that should be rattling around CJ's head this week.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's also tough because CJ only has $42 in free agency money, too. So keep that in mind as well. Is this one that you want to go after as far as seeding? Is it one that we kind of wait till the end of the week and see what happens? I have no idea. But if CJ has to add a few bucks this week, that could hurt him long term, especially when you think about playoffs. If you take 14, 14, and 17, which is normally the amount of game days, that was that $45 that you would need if you wanted to add one person a day every day in the playoffs. You're welcome for people who haven't broken that down this early in the season, me saying it. First time I've done it, but I figure, you know what? Why not? Help you guys out as much as you can. $45 is kind of what you need when you're getting into the playoffs if you expect to make the deep run. He's already at 42. So I think, though, that Luka is a big enough hole that I think CJ might be able to sneak in there, even if it's one sneaky ad to start the week or something like that. I'm going to go with CJ at home, and I think this might end in a tie.
Yeah, this is really interesting because across the board, there are injury flags on guys that can't be dropped. For both teams, there's like 4 or 5 flags, and none of them are really droppable guys. I am going to pick Cody, but I don't feel great about it.
All right. Next matchup is number 3, Doug, at number 7, Eric. Eric 0-1, Doug 1-0. I think Doug's going to win this. I think this is a very similar situation, though, to Eric versus Cody. I think if Eric would be, and I don't know if Eric is just waiting and seeing, and then he's going to start cycling people out, or what, but I think it's a situation where last week, I think Eric might have been able to catch Cody. I'm not 100% sure if he'd have cycled all 7 days, but it would have been close. It just depends on who he adds. I think he has another chance here with Doug to get close. I don't know if he'll win. I don't know if he'll cycle. I don't know if Doug will cycle if Eric starts cycling. So it's an interesting matchup, but I'm going to take Doug on the road here only because, again, I'm in the same spot I was with Eric last week. I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Giannis looked really, really good tonight. He shot something like 16 for 20 or something, maybe 14 for 20, something ridiculous. But Doug's team has looked unbelievable.
Yeah.
Musa Diabate even dropped in a double-double tonight. Scotty Barnes had a good game, obviously. We've seen Wemby just destroying people, and LaMelo Ball had the triple-double tonight. Doug is firing on all cylinders, and I'm picking him until he goes against you, and then I'm hoping and then I'm looking at what the injury status is for both teams.
Yep, and like I said, you and I had several private conversations it's okay to admit it now, Joel. I said Doug was going to be a real problem this year, and I think he's going to be a real problem this year. That's just what I think. I've been saying it all summer. And it's starting to come true. So Doug and I main event in the middle of the season for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to me and Cody, and me and CJ. I mean, I only get to play CJ once this year, so that's a bummer. Next matchup is what's that?
Hold on, before we move on, I just want to ask you on the record: are you worried that when you play Doug, that Yang Hansen will be the better Jokic in the matchup?
I'm not worried about that at all, no. I watched Joker have 11 assists in the first half last night. You and I watched him together. You missed the third quarter because you fell asleep on the couch like a little bitch. But
It wasn't my way.
Yeah, you took your ball and went home immediately to sleeping on the couch. Like that was your sign of, oh, things aren't really happening how I wanted them to happen.
I would have been more confused if they were going my way. Believe you me.
Next matchup, speaking of you, Joel Gibson, and things going your way, we have number 5, Kyle, at number 8, Joel Gibson. He moves up to number 8, playoff team, Joel Gibson. I hesitate to put you at 8, only because, like I said, it just depends on what you want to do. Your team is pretty good. It's very injured. But I think that you showed that you could put up at least decent numbers against a high-quality team, even if I have 2 on my IR. We can get into total injury games and all that, but at the end of the day, the matchup was close enough that I think that you're a playoff team.
Yeah, I do think that this team is 1 year away from contention, but I think this is going to be a really good measuring stick against Kyle. I wish I was less injured. I'm going to pick Kyle, but only because I am so injured. His Javion Mitchell looked awesome. Of course, I love Donovan Mitchell, so it's going to be tough going against the Mitchell brothers this week. But it would go a lot better if I had Darius Garland, Tyrese Halliburton, Kyrie Irving, Jaden Ivey helping me out.
Yeah, the usual list. I, too, am going to pick Kyle. I also think that it's close enough against you that Kyle will cycle against you just to, like, bully you. So I think that Kyle's going to win this week. I think you need 1 or 2 more players healthy before you can really start competing and getting some wins if that's what you choose to do. But I think Kyle starts out this year 2-0. And that's after trading Wemby. It's still impressive regardless. You know what I mean?
Yep. The only thing that I'm going to note is when we were talking before this video, we were talking about Jalen Johnson being really the only injury of note. Josh Giddey now has a flag next to his name.
Oh.
So that makes things pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It says he has a bum finger from sitting on it and spinning, but we'll see.
Is that how he got his hair like that?
Yeah, man. He used... that was going to get gross.
Okay, I'm good with it. Next matchup is Steven, number 11, versus Neiman, number 9. I almost wanted to put Steven higher here because I was going to pick Steven. He just has too many injuries. He has too many injuries right now. He has a solid team. I don't foresee that Steven's going to waste his money this week. He might be able to catch Neiman off guard. I'm not even sure if Neiman still watches these videos. But I think that Neiman's going to win at home. Steven he's too injured right now. So if all these injuries continue as they are, and again, they're not serious injuries, so he might get some of them back throughout the week. But is it too late? I don't know. I'm going to take Neiman at home.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Neiman as well. Steven's just got so many injuries. I thought Benedict Mathurin was impressive. But Embiid is already out for Monday's game. And really, Neiman needs Embiid and Sabonis to be performing at top 20 levels if he's going to be contending this year.
Is it safe to say that Neiman should have traded Embiid at his peak when he was first in the league, when I won as the 8? What was that? Was that 2019? How many was that 6 years ago that Neiman should have traded Embiid? Because I can't think of a legitimate season between now and then that Embiid's been worth it to have on his team, especially at that price point.
No, unfortunately, it's never been worth it for Neiman.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. So, yeah, like I said, Neiman's going to get it here, but like I said at the beginning, he's got some work to do for sure. Last matchup is Jake at Adam. Adam just got shellacked around by Kyle, and Jake just got shellacked around by Matt. So, I think that, man, there's a good chance that both of these teams are in the bottom four this year. Unfortunately, I think Adam may need to make a big move. Maybe I don't know what it's going to be, but I think that Jake can also make some roster moves throughout the year. But they're still rebuilding. Well, Jake is definitely still rebuilding. Adam has some good young pieces. I just Fox being injured is a real problem for him. Like I said, Dyson not scoring a lot and not having Fox is huge. Like Dyson's putting up good, additional stats, but without the points and the scoring and stuff, it makes it tough to even compete. And that showed this week against Kyle for sure. I think I'm taking Adam at home. I have no idea. I put him at 10 and Jake at 12. So I'm going to just go with my rankings and go with Adam. But who knows? Jake could surprise us all and really start cycling out. Or maybe he wants to be that 12 seed. I have no idea.
I am going to pick Adam, and I actually feel more confident about it than you. If I'm just calling it out as I see it, I think Nurkic at $31 on someone's roster is maybe the worst value in the league right now. But outside that, there is reason for optimism with Adam's team. Castle looks improved. Amen is incredible. Fears looks better than I anticipated. Cameron Thomas dropped 40. Michael Porter could go off. Cedric Coward is good. Cal Filipowski is good. Dyson Daniels could score more, and Walker Kessler looks improved. Also, Colin Sexton is now playing fucking well. So there's reason for optimism, and Jake's team just doesn't have players that are at that level right now. He's definitely a couple years out.
Yep. All right, well, that's it. A little bit longer. We got to get back into playing shape. We just passed 27 minutes. We try to stay under 25, but hey, I got to stop adding all these names and these accolades to my name, and we could at least cut off at least a minute. It's just getting so long out here, Joel Gibson.
Well, dude, we're, just rounding ourselves into playing shape.
Exactly. We'll be under 25 before you guys know it. Anything else from you, Joel Gibson?
No, nothing from me.
Excellent. Well, nothing from me either. I hope to see you all next week where we can add another tally to my win streak. Good luck, Matthew. You're going to need it, my friend. See ya.
Adios.